Yo, what is up, my beautiful people? Here on the Barely Average Dude channel, you know I love my handheld PCs, devices like the Steam Deck, Legion Go, and Ally X to name a few. But lately, over this past month, I have really been diving into the world of retro handhelds, playing all of my favorite games from back in the day. You know what I'm talking about, back when gaming was good, if you know what I mean. But I've been testing all of the retro handhelds I can get my hands on, from the Anbernics, the Trim UI bricks, the Miyoo and retro flips, an assortment of, a little sample of all that the retro market has to offer. But there is one device that I've been testing out over this last month that has really stood out, that has really proved to be something special, and that is this device right here. The device we're going to talk about in this video, none other than the Ayaneo Pocket S. So in this video, we're gonna break it down. I'm gonna talk to you about five key factors about the Ayaneo Pocket S. 3 of them which I absolutely love, and 2 of them which could be a bit better. And then at the end of this video, I'm gonna answer the question if this is the right device for you. But before we hop into the video, make sure you smash that like button, make sure you subscribe, ring that bell, and all that great YouTube stuff so I can keep coming to you with more Barely Average Dude content. So let's not waste any time. Let's get into this review, overview, whatever you want to call it, breakdown. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk to you about this device that I think is absolutely amazing is the build quality and design. Now, I have had a lot of premium devices over the last few years, and this device right here is right up there with the best of the best as far as design and build quality goes. Now, if you take a look around the device here, I don't know if the camera can focus on that. It is a solid metal. I'm not sure if it's like aluminum or whatever it is, but it is a solid metal ring around the device. And just look at the ports, the tolerances, the intake holes, the speaker holes, even the screw. Everything on this device screams high quality. Like nothing looks like it slipped through the cracks at quality control. This device here is as premium as they come. And then you have the screen, which is behind the glass, laminated directly behind the front panel. Don't know how that comes off of a camera, but the entire front is just one solid piece of glass that goes across the entire front of the device. So there's no like distinguishable bezel, like there's no bar, like there's no black bars around the edge of the screen. It's just one solid piece of glass on the front. Now that could raise the question about durability. I'm sure jerry-rig everything would tell you that glass is glass and glass breaks, but as far as premium and build quality goes, there's not really any sort of like cheap plastic or anything that just feels like low quality. This thing is built like a premium device, and it really stands up next to any premium device. I have a lot of premium devices in my sort of pocket when I go anywhere. I got the iPhone 16 Pro Max, which is titanium and glass and ceramic or whatever. I got the Galaxy Fold 6 here that is also titanium and glass or whatever. And this device feels just as premium as any of the other premium devices that you may find in your electronics collection here. The Ayaneo Pocket S really does stand up next to anything, and I really do think that the build quality is intentional, the design is top notch, and the materials are the finest that is available in a consumer-based electronic. Now, it's not gold or platinum or anything like that, but as far as what you're gonna find in a regular consumer electronic, this thing is right up there with the best of the best. Glass, metal, everything feels good, it feels solid, it doesn't creak, it doesn't bend, it doesn't feel like it's gonna break. This thing is solid, it feels premium. It does have a premium price, which we're gonna get to that later, but you do feel like you get your money's worth with this device. Now look at it, it can just stand up. Any device that can stand up, it was built with some sort of intentionality behind it. But yes, the build quality and design is top notch, and that's one aspect of this device that I absolutely love. So if you like premium devices, if you're used to having, a premium device in your pocket, this device can stand up next to any of the devices, and you know, it's not going to look out of place in your daily driver collection here. Now, the second thing is going to be the software. Now, I don't know if you saw it, but it is running Android. I'm not sure if that's Android 14 or something like that, but it is running a pretty recent version of Android, but not just the Android operating system. I mean the actual built-in software. Now, this device has probably one of the best software suites on any retro, I don't even know if you can call it retro, but any Android-based gaming device. This thing has a software suite that rivals, you know, the top of the line, you know, PC handhelds. Like this Airspace software, you can adjust your performance presets. You can go into here and actually customize the different clock speeds on the CPU for each of the different, the presets. We have the ability to change the GPU limit. You can go in here and adjust the max frequency. You can lock the max frequency. You can change all of the different cores and different things like that. It has a lot of customization just for the power profiles in here. Then you can go into like the controller. You can adjust the RGB, of course, on the ring. You can go in here and adjust the joystick and different things like that. Everything in here is just a quality device, and nothing feels like they really just cheaped out and didn't really take their time making this thing top notch. This thing absolutely feels amazing as far as from a software standpoint. We can adjust all of our settings. We can go in here and change like the triggers from digital to linear. You can go in here and change the sensitivity, the joystick. You can change the dead zone. You can change the ABXY, the face buttons from regular to like Xbox to like Japanese, or what you might find on the Switch. That's gonna be good for retro games. And I actually love the fact that there's no labels on the buttons. You just know that this could be A or B, this could be B or A, and either of these sort of buttons are interchangeable. And I do love how the face buttons don't have anything on it, because you can go into software and assign that as needed. That just goes to show you the customization and the overall level of thought that they put into this device. It is top notch. The software is some of the best I've ever seen on any device. You can even see this here with this little switch here, and this just goes back into the intentionality and the thought that goes behind it. This little switch here is the a spring-loaded switch mechanism here, and this is just to change the mode here. So I'll flip the switch here, and you can see it changes the mode on max mode now, and it's gonna cycle through the different modes that it has, all at this switch. They could have just made this a button, or could have put it in just the software, but just the fact that the hardware and software works together in this satisfying way. Like, this switch is very satisfying to flick here, and it just changes the mode, but they didn't have to do that. And it just shows that they really put some thought into this device. Now, the third factor that I absolutely love about this device is the performance, and that's probably, you know, what you've been looking forward to. You probably skipped ahead to this section. I don't know if you're impatient, but this is the performance. I don't want to take too much of your time. I'm just going to play some demanding systems so you can get a sense of how this thing plays. Now, I'm going to put the specs up here. It is the Snapdragon G3X Gen 3. That's going to be similar to like a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. Not as strong as like an 8 Gen 3 or like an 8 Elite, but it is rather strong. This is probably one of the most powerful chips you can get on any Android device that's dedicated towards gaming, that isn't like a gaming phone with like the 8 Elite or something like that. 16 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte of fast storage in here. This thing is really, top notch as far as performance goes. But let's stop talking about it. Let's be about it. Let's play some games on this thing. I'll just play a few systems, demanding systems, so you can get a sense of what it can do at the higher end, and you automatically know you can do anything below that. So let's start out with the system that cannot be named. All right, check this out, you guys. Check this out. We are playing Darksiders 3 on the system that cannot be named. You can see the controllers here, so you can put two and two together. The system that is getting a second version in just a week or two here. You know what it is, but we are playing Darksiders 3 here, and we are getting a playable frame rate in a game that is actually pretty modern here. I think this game came out in like 2018 originally, and for the system that cannot be named, I think it came out just a few years ago. but it's running this game at a very decent frame rate. We do get some drops here, but I'm really pushing this thing here. I'm not really like pulling any punches here with this system, and it is playing it in a rather playable state here. Now I could play a much less demanding game, but I just wanted to push this thing to its absolute limit just to give you a sense of what this thing can actually do here. And you can see I'm playing this game, I'm able to see enemies and adjust in real time. It does lose some frames here, but it's not anything that is unplayable. And this is a game where it's a very recent game. Like, it's not anything from like, you know, 20 years or anything like that. This is a rather recent game here, and we're able to play it at a playable state, and that just goes to give you a little glimpse at the performance you can get out of this thing. I don't want to play here too long. I didn't want to only show a game that's like easy to run or that runs flawlessly. I wanted to give you guys a sense of like what happens when you push it. It's still playable, and it's still very enjoyable. But anyway, let's get into the next system. Okay, so this next game is from the Wii U. This is the system that came right before the system that cannot be named, but amazing performance here, and you can just get a sense of how this thing plays. No issue at all playing Wii U emulation. So yeah, just check it out, you guys. You see how smooth this looks, and it's running at like a constant 60, except for the occasional like shader compilation. We're gonna get, you know, a solid 60 FPS here on Wii U emulation. Now, I found there are some games that don't run, but all of the games that do run, which is the vast majority of them, you're gonna get a very smooth performance here. So you don't have to worry about performance. Only some games that don't run at all, but if the game does run, it runs amazingly. I have to say, this is like a perfect handheld for Wii U emulation for the most part. There's only been a few games that I've tested that didn't run at all. Notably, what was it, Need for Speed? What was it, the Criterion one? What was it, Need for Speed? Was that Most Wanted from Criterion? But we're gonna play the real Need for Speed Most Wanted after this, and you're gonna see it does play very well. But yeah, Wii U emulation runs amazing on here, no issues. Solid 60 FPS, and you're gonna have a good time on Wii U. But anyway, on to the next system. Okay, so here we are playing the actual Need for Speed Most Wanted, and this is the PS2 version here. Probably one of my favorite racing games of all time, and this thing runs amazingly. We're running this at 2x resolution here, and we pretty much get a locked 60 FPS here. Now with emulation, there's always like, you know, the occasional 1 or 2 frames dropped, but overall this thing runs amazingly. Now I'm not sure how you can see this over camera, but we are really moving right now, and we are getting a nice 60 FPS experience here. Now this video is also recorded at 60 FPS, so hopefully it gives you a sense of how smooth this is. But I can tell you, just from playing it, it feels good. It feels like how you remember it back in the day on the PS2, but even better because it's in your hand. Okay, so the last game we're gonna test is from GameCube. This is Mario Kart Double Dash, and this is another classic game here on the GameCube. I'm sorry that I'm not doing an extensive like gameplay session. Let me know in the comments down below if you want to see like a dedicated gameplay video. I just wanted to give you a sense of like how this thing plays some of the more demanding retro systems, just so you know it can play everything before that without any issue. Yeah, we didn't do so good in this race, but let's just say it's hard to play behind the camera. But anyway, performance is actually great on this device. I cannot talk well enough about the performance. This thing performs just as good as you would expect it to run with this G3X Gen 2 processor here. Now I know the Gen 3 is coming out this year soon, but right now this thing is amazing. It's gonna go toe to toe with any other devices in this sort of category and class. Now the next thing I'm gonna talk about is to transition into the two things that I don't really like about this device. Okay, so we talked about the three things I love about this device: the build quality and design, the software and the performance. Now, it's two things I don't really like about this device. I'm not gonna take too much of your time because they are pretty straightforward. The first thing is the ergonomics. And like I said, this device can stand up because it is pretty flat. And in being pretty flat, you can see there's not much for your hands to kind of grab onto. Now, it can sit in your hands like this. Your hands are kind of just sitting there, resting there. But over time, if you're playing, especially if you're playing games that require like both sticks and triggers, it can get kind of uncomfortable because there's nothing for your hand to really grab onto. And especially if you're sitting up the device like this, there's nothing to grab onto. It's resting on your pinky, and it's just not the most ergonomic situation. I will say, if you compare it to something like this, you can see it has a much more substantial grip, and I think this is one of the most comfortable devices in this sort of size. You can see similar size here. This is a 5.5 inch display versus a 6 inch display, but similar size as far as overall device, but this is much more ergonomic. You can see my hand is very comfortable here. This thing feels awesome. I can play this thing non-stop for hours on end and it just never feels uncomfortable. Hand never cramps up. This one, on the other hand, is not the most comfortable situation. Now, it feels, you know, as you would expect for this shape, but over time, it's just not the most comfortable thing. So ergonomics, I give ergonomics maybe like a C, but yeah, it's not the best ergonomically, especially when you compare it to something like this, where it has this nice grip, and this thing is really my gold standard as far as these retro handhelds, ergonomically speaking. Now, the next thing I don't really like about this device is the factor that may push a lot of people away as soon as they hear it, and that is the price. Now, at the time of recording this video, this model I have here, which is the 16 gigabyte RAM model with 1 terabyte of internal storage. This device here is around $600. That's right, $600. That's 6 Benjamin Franklins coming out of your wallet, and that is no small investment, I guess I would say. This device is very expensive. There's no way to put it. Like I said, it is very premium. Like, it's metal construction, metal and glass. It has one of the most powerful processors you can get in like a mobile Android-based device. It does have all of the specs and materials that would lean towards that premium price, but it doesn't change the fact that it is very, very expensive. I can't overstate that. It is very expensive. It is very premium, but it comes with a premium price, and they are not pulling any punches when it comes to getting those dollars out of your wallet. So the question is, why would you get this? Why would you get this over something like a Legion Go, right? Why would you get it over something like an LIX? Why would you get it over something like a Steam Deck OLED? You can get all of these devices, you know, used or even new for around the same price as the Ayaneo Pocket S. So the question is, why wouldn't you just get these? And let me zoom out here. Let me zoom out to give you a sense of why you probably would choose the Ayaneo Pocket S over these other devices. And just look, this is why you would get the Ayaneo Pocket S over any one of these devices that are also in a similar category here for your $600, and that is the portability. This device here is going to be like your phone. You can put it in your pocket. You can, you know, take it with you, slip it into a jacket. into a small bag, and this thing is going to give you a lot of performance for this small form factor. Like, you're playing PS2, you're playing the console that cannot be named, you're playing Wii U, you're playing GameCube, you're playing, all of the systems, even some light PS3 emulation, and even now you have people emulating Windows on Android, so you can do all of that on this, and it's going to be a very compact package. And it's not something you can say, look at this, look at the difference here, right? This is like a phone, and this is like a laptop. Especially if you got something like the Legion Go, just look at this. This thing is dwarfed. It can fit in between the space of the grips here, and it's just dwarfed by any other device in the similar price category. Now, if you're looking for price to performance ratios, then you're looking at handheld PCs. But if you're looking for a premium retro or Android mobile gaming experience, this is going to be a device that is going to be hard to beat. Now, that price is hard to stomach, but the device itself is hard to beat, especially when you look at it next to these other gaming devices. If you're looking for portability, this is going to be something that is going to be hard to match, even with devices that are geared towards portability. Look at my go-to portable devices here. I have the GPD Win 4 here, and the GPD Win Mini, which I have always said is the most portable handheld PC. It's still like triple the thickness and footprint of this device here. So even the more portable PCs are still going to be much larger than this device here. So this is going to be the one you get if you want retro emulation, some mobile gaming, and you want it in a premium package with a compact form factor. You're not even looking at these handheld PCs, or maybe you already have a handheld PC and you're looking to get into a more like emulation focused device, but you don't want to sacrifice build quality, design, software, and performance. This is going to be the one for you. Now, if that price already puts you off edge, then you obviously know it's not for you. But if you look at this device as a premium device and you're looking at that price like, yes, that is justifiable because I know I'm getting a premium product, then this is going to be the device for you. It's not for everyone. It's going to be a very niche device. But I think there is a person out there that could really appreciate this device here. And I'm not just saying that because Ayaneo sent that out to review. I'm not trying to convince you to buy this. I'm just telling you, after my experience and my use of this device, I see a use case for it, and I see a potential person that this device is useful for. I know it's not everyone, but for those people that appreciate this build quality, design, and performance, you're not going to be disappointed. Now, if $600 is too much, I totally understand. But I will tell you, if you're looking for me to tell you that this is a good device, it is a good device. And if that's all you need to hear, and price is no object, then hey, you can go forward knowing that you are getting a premium quality retro gaming device. And that's pretty much all I can say. Let me know in the comments down below if you would ever consider something like this. Even if the price wasn't an issue, let me know if you would consider an Android based emulation focused device like this. Let me know everything in the comments below. Let me hear all of your thoughts down below. And as always, make sure you smash that like button, make sure you subscribe, ring that bell, all that great YouTube stuff. And I'm gonna be interested to see what you guys think about this device, because I think it is awesome. Build quality, top notch. Performance, top tier. Software, unmatched. Price, high, but that's really all I can say. Anyway, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Pocket S. 16 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte of storage in your pocket. Look at this. Can your phone top that? Peace.